Great chance here! That does it! Steve McGavin! And for the first time, Colchester United have won a major final.
Still Garcia, finally the company arrives and it's in! It's a freak out goal from Ricardo Carvalho. Richard Garcia wants the credit and the shock is on at the bridge.
And it's promotion for Colchester United. They've made it into the Championship for the first time in 69 years.
Porter, actually being held. There is Porter, and it's Maka!
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Barside, the podcast that covers all things Colchester United. I am Aaron J. A big thank you to those tuning in over on Apple, Spotify and YouTube. You're doing us a big favour there, but no bigger favour than those sharing the podcast on social media over on X, Instagram and Facebook. It has been a very good week for Colchester United as the U's are still basking in the glow of a 2-0 away win at top of the league Walsall. And over on the women's side, the U's held Hertford Town to a 1-1 draw. And we're going to start by reviewing that Walsall game where I was joined by Si, Dave and Samir to really relive what a great moment that was away at Walsall. Hope you enjoy. Welcome back to Beyond the Barside. I'm joined for the Walsall review where the U's won 2-0 against top of the league Walsall. Unbelievable performance away from home. Tactical shape. The U's changed shape, matched them man for man, and it seemed to be really successful. Si, do you want to talk us through the tactical shape there?
I think we got tactics spot on, didn't we? We went from a back four to a back three with wing backs. I think, to be fair, they must have been listening to what we've been talking about because we've got to take some of the credit for the confusion of the change of shape because obviously we've been joking about Tuck going to midfield. At times it looked like he was going to be there with the way they're warming up, and then obviously the last minute, Danny put it back in defence to the back three. So obviously you must have thought the Walsall listened to our tactical ideas and playing on board with it. So he completely used us to get one over on Walsall, I'd like to think. But yeah, no, it's good going to a 5, worked really well because obviously doubling up on them on the sides. And yeah, matched the man for man strength. We were much better. And I think as well, we played the psychological game really well. We could see it was really getting under their skin of things that Samson obviously is one of the masters of that. And he just was absolutely. And to be fair to Samson, obviously, I know I've been very critical of him in the past, but I think if you look, it's more the frustration, there's a player in there. And yesterday, he proved that to everyone. That's the player we all want him to be. And so, yeah, I think he deserved his goal, his assist, and his man of the match performance, really. So, the only negative bit was the injury that Bishop's picked up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Do we know what that is? It looked like just fatigue, but was it an actual?
No, so it apparently is something he's got.
Okay.
Something.
Okay, so there you go. There's an exclusive there, although it's probably already been announced by the time this podcast comes out. But the first half showing, the U's attacked from the get-go, really. I mean, we really took the game to Walsall. Lovely patterns of play going forward. Dave, quite how strong was that first half?
From the off, it was great. And yeah, like you said, the tactics were absolutely spot on. We could do an entire bonus pod on Si's emotional journey from the announcement of the team, thinking Tucker was in midfield, then actually seeing the Tucker warming up with the defenders, and a little nice bit of all the details that went into yesterday with regard to the tactics. You'll notice when the defenders did their warm up with Nicky, the shape, warming up with the shape, they only put 4 defenders there, left Ellis with the attackers, just to give no hint that we were going to match him up. So just little details, and they all just came off in the end. And yeah, attacking wise, we started really well. I mean, we created chances. Ellis blazed one over, and then the goals, and we'll go back to Samson. So pleased for him. He really deserved it yesterday. And if you look, there was like different aspects of his game. If you look at the first goal, great touch from Anderson, He wouldn't have expected that ball to come as it did. Great touch, great ball. But if you look back at the goal, Samson's movement was a proper striker's move to get in. To get into that position to be there. And for the second goal, I mean, I'm sure we'll go into more detail on the second goal, because if we score a better goal than that this season, it's going to be absolutely spectacular. But don't underestimate his cross.
Mm-hmm.
He had to get so many things right on it. The shape, the weight on it, the direction. It took out the keeper and 3 defenders. It was fantastic. So, tactically, it was an absolute masterclass. The first half, we deserved our goals. It really made use of the strengths we have in regards to obviously Lisby's pace. They can't push up as high as they want to with Lisby there. They'll know that. All the teams know that, but it doesn't matter. He's still that quick enough to get there ahead of the defender, as we saw for the second goal. And just everyone put a shift in. I mean, and obviously Samson's getting a lot of the plaudits. I thought all 3 of the centre-backs throughout the game, particularly in the second half, were absolutely immense. Tom Flanagan coming back into the team in a game like that, against a team like that, was absolutely outstanding. But they all were, to a man. And just, even small cameos, but just shows sort of the commitment of the performance. It was a performance that I went quite big on Grimsby, saying it was an all-time away day, and I still think that. I don't think I went overboard there. I thought yesterday was it was a game where you look at it and you think, oh, actually, this is why I do this.
Mm-hmm.
The first half was exciting and attacking and bold, and the second half was just. I mean, I don't think their keeper touched the ball with his hands in the second half, but the commitment, the shape, the willingness to work was just everything you want to see in your team. And just a really quick shout out, like Rob Hunt comes on. We all turn and look at each other a bit nervously. Rob Hunt's in midfield, but he did really well. There was one block he did from a shot when they had a free kick and laid it back. He absolutely launched himself to block it. And Ellisy and Dolo's goal line clearance.
Mm-hmm.
One of the moments of the season, I think. It was absolutely incredible. But no, it was just from top to bottom, tactically, the performance on the pitch, performance off the pitch, everything was just top notch yesterday.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously, sorry to butt in.
Sorry, go ahead, Si.
That is with all the stuff that's going on in the background, with having to get taxis to the ground because the coach broke down for the second time.
That's mad, all of that chain of events.
Yeah, in a way, I said to Danny after, I was like, well, maybe you just need to have that off all the time, because he had no time to worry about what was going on with the game. So they couldn't overanalyze in their heads. They're having to deal with the fact that they were all rock. Danny went back to school teacher mode on a school trip, trying to herd all the kids to the right directions, trying to get them all in the change room.
I had a bib. That's
just doing head counts.
Hold hands.
Yeah. Lovely stuff. And obviously, we go from that first half where we've gone for them and we've really sort of laid a marker down on we're taking control of the game and we're going to dictate the play, to this second half of resolute defending where we've sort of soaked up and we've stood a barrage of pressure from Walsall. Samir, quite how good was that second half defensively?
Oh, it was. Yeah, they were stoic, right? They just really stuck in. It reminded me of Gillingham towards the end of last season when we lost half of our attacking force, and the team just really, all to a man, just stood up to keep them out. And considering we haven't been that good defensively this season, we've let in a lot of sloppy goals. It was great to see them do it as a team and defend their 6-yard area the way they were last season, really, and really just stood up. It wasn't nice watching it. It was, and you didn't have the belief until the very end that we were going to see it through. But in reality, they only had one save from Macy, proper save, or maybe two. There wasn't, we kept them out, and that's everybody. It wasn't a fluke. It's not like they hit the woodwork or that many times. It was just a great defensive display, which is both sides of the game, right? We deserved to be ahead at half time, and I knew they were going to come out because they're better. Walsall are better than what they did in the first half. I mean, that's a lot down to the way we played, but I think it's always going to be like that. Doesn't mean I enjoyed watching it though. But yeah, but it's at the end I enjoyed it on reflection. But during it, it was like, oh, any second now.
It felt like every clearance that we made almost felt like a chance on goal. We sort of we really celebrated those long
Every time-
punts to the other end of the pitch.
Every time Matt Macy caught it, I was on my feet.
Yeah, it really sort of created that atmosphere within the ground. But
I think it was the only that part of obviously you're missing Jack Payne, and it's that you would expect to have more chances than we didn't get anything to kind of as a counter attack in the second half. There was none of that, and you'd think for the amount of pressure they were put on, we'd have one or two chances where we'd get behind them and put them under pressure. It just didn't happen at all. So it was really one-way traffic for 45 minutes, and that's probably the only thing I would have liked to see more of. But I'm being picky, ever the purist. But yeah,
on the back of that, it's sort of fairly heard Danny's post-match interviews and stuff. But the second half plan was for us to let them have the ball.
Yeah,
because he felt that if we could nullify them, they had no output. It was easier them having the ball than keep trying to basically do our thing. So I think that's probably why we didn't get the counter attacks, because we're almost willing them to get the ball back.
Yeah, and it was about staying in shape. I mean, that's why. And they didn't have any sort of plan B, did they? They kept on just trying to force it the way they were forcing it. And yeah, the back three, all of them were just absolutely brilliant. And again, have been critical of him, but Kane Vincent-Young defensively yesterday was absolutely exceptional. And that's why I think at half time, Awura Edwards did a really energetic warm up. So I think he was just trying to say, pick me, Danny, pick me. I'm ready. I've got hoop dreams. But then J.K. Gordon came on, but you can see why, because Gordon is better. It was more important to maintain the shape and sort of have the press working as it should. And you're going to get that with J.K. Gordon, and you're going to get more of a counter-attacking option with Awura. Not necessarily the best shape, but the bit we played it so well in the first half. That was the way to continue.
I do think as well, because if we see Bishop Pickham's injury, like you say, it's JK's more defensive minded, isn't he? So it makes more sense for him to come on rather than sort of maybe what their plan was for that point. They're probably at plan Q, aren't they? But all the stuff going on with the bus and God knows what. But that was thinking. It was tactically, it was absolute masterclass, really.
I think Awura potentially, if we're chasing the game and we're looking to claw something back, he's the person that you bring on. But obviously the defensive work that JK puts in made him sort of the right fit to come in. But Si, we spoke before the game, and you actually broke the news before it made its way to social media. Micah Embick plays 20 to 30 minutes on the Friday night for England under-20s. He then returns from international duty early to be named on the bench for Colchester United upon his own request. Talk me through that.
Yeah, apparently he's been in Danny's ear for the whole week, saying that we're so close to where they're based with St George's that why can't he come in if he doesn't play much on the Friday? Because at that point he didn't know how much he was going to play, and he still wanted to get back and be involved. It's kind of one of those. It's brilliant. You've got a young player who's desperate to come on and play when I play in it. He's young enough to be able to do 2-3 games a weekend. Can we all remember when we were sort of 12 years old? We could play football Friday, Saturday, Sunday, couldn't we? And it was all fun and games. So he's got the fitness and stuff. Obviously, the only worry was if he had picked up an injury with us, with the potentially in camp got a bit funny with the fact that he's come back and let us play, but they must have been on side with it. I do think that's why he came on over Goodwin, to be fair, because Danny was almost felt obliged to give him a run out when he'd gone to putting all the effort into getting back to it. He didn't look his normal self. He did look a little bit lethargic, but I don't know if that's then because we weren't looking to play counter press football. We were just looking to, give them the ball, let them do their thing. He was kind of a bit.
He was completely isolated because of the plan, and the plan ultimately worked. But he was isolated, so he was effectively doing shuttle runs, putting pressure on their defenders. So yeah, he did what he was brought on to do. So
I thought at one point Flint was actually going to pick up the ball and say, right, it's my ball. I don't like it. I'm not playing anymore, and walk off the pitch with it. He was getting in such a little mood, wasn't he? It's like the big.
Well, he
the
shoved
playground.
Lisby off the pitch, didn't
Yeah.
Yeah, but you notice he didn't go anywhere near Samson when Samson went off.
he? Yeah.
And Micah did put him on the floor as soon as he came on. I mean, that was the first thing
Yeah.
Micah did, putting
He got
Aidan
put-
Flint
He's always
on the
putting him on for
floor.
that, just that. To be fair, he's just
Yeah.
guy's got to retire now.
But obviously that's one star striker. Dave, our other striker, seems to be back in the goals. You said that we'd talk about the second goal a bit more. Samson Tavide not only scores, but also provides a really good cross as an assist as well. I mean, is Samson Tavide back?
Well, let's hope so. Even if, either it's going to be great for us for the rest of the season because he's going to score a few goals and get some assists, or his transfer fee is going to go up. Either way, it's good for the club. But no, he really had the bit between his teeth, and you can see the way he was. You can always tell how confident and how well Samson's doing by how rattled the home fans are. And he absolutely had them on strings, the saying goes. Yesterday, it was fantastic. His little dance, and that's going to be his thing now forever. The dance after his assist was better than the dance for his goal. But no, it was great to see him. It's great to see him. I think I mentioned a few pods ago when things weren't going so well for him that he was, because the goals weren't coming, he was trying to do too much. He was trying to get involved with the defenders to try and contribute in that way. And he didn't really do that yesterday. He knew where his strengths were against them, and we played to it, and he played to it really well. It's like I said earlier on, the ball for Lisby's goal was absolutely fantastic. It shows real awareness, and when he's playing well, his awareness. If you remember, a couple of times last season, he slipped Lyle Taylor in a couple of times, got some really good assists, really intelligent assists. When he's playing well and he's focused on his game, he can do that. And just the second goal was just absolutely fantastic, wasn't it? And I don't know if you watched the EFL highlights. Anyone who hasn't watched it, we were the feature game last night. So it was quite a bit about us. Danny was on it quite a lot. And the highlight started just after the move actually started, which started on our byline. Ellis winning it, knocking it to Reed. And then Reed, just fantastic bit of play, perfect pass through. It sounds with his right foot. And then a perfect cross and finish. Like I said, that was an absolutely fantastic goal. For me, goal of the season so far.
It was the patience that he took to stay on the ball, because in the 5th minute he had a similar thing on the other side where he completely panicked and fluffed it and didn't do it right. And I thought, oh no, here we go, one of those days. But yeah, that was perfect. The way he waited for Lisby to catch up, and it was I thought Lisby almost missed it. That was a bit the way he hit it at such speed.
I don't think he hit it quite right, did he? But
but it was thankfully too close to miss. But
I think you might be the only person that's able to come on here and say that we had to wait for Lisby to catch up.
it doesn't that long.
Yeah, I know. Wasn't too long a wait, but yeah.
And I mean, it was an incredible ball in, and the sort of thought process behind bringing Lisby into the game was really nice to watch. And it seems as if there's a player returning to form. Samir, there's also a player that's returned to the back line in Tom Flanagan. A clean sheet.
2 games, 2 clean sheets.
2 games, 2 clean sheets, and almost... I mean, that second half performance, does that happen without a Tom Flanagan leading that back line? I mean, how important is the return of Tom Flanagan?
I think it just underlines, for the stick that he's always got, what he's been at Colchester is just a bit unfair. He's always brought a sense of balance and that leadership, even though he's not the loudest, most aggressive kind of captain, but he's clearly doing. There's a reason why they picked him, and you can see that. And I don't think we would have, maybe just because of the kind of game that it was, with that much pressure from Walsall for the second half. It needed 3 centre-backs anyway to do that job and defend that 6-yard box that way anyway, to have the 3 out-and-out centre-backs. But he just obviously brings that leadership that they need. Because we haven't been fantastic defensively without him. Tucker's great, and Arujo are great individually, and you can't fault them, but they have let in sloppy goals. Like the one Tabide scored yesterday was just the kind of goal we've considered over and over again this season. Balled over the top, defenders have to turn, and then the strikers tap it in. And we've considered so many goals like that. Starts for us to score one. So the way that they defended and together, it was, I think Flanagan led that for sure.
It's like what you say about I was still seeing online, so after the team came out, still seeing people saying, "Oh, it's going to be a long day. No Jack Payne and Flanagan's playing." I'm like, what more does he have to do? 21 clean sheets last year.
Yeah,
he's come back in. It's noticeable when he's not there. It's just, I don't know what more he has to do. But to be honest, I think that is the minority now. I do think that the tide has turned for quite a while now, to be honest. And people, he is appreciated. Him and Anderson, people now really starting to appreciate what they bring.
Yeah,
I guess the challenge will be if they're not going to stick to a back three, which of the three they then drop, and that will be a problem for Danny. I don't have to worry about that, thankfully. But
yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely.
I think half the problem with Tom Flanagan, sort of gone down that way, is he's one of the few centre backs we've had for a while that tries to play the ball, tries to do the cross field pass. So you'll see in doing that, at times it's not going to come off, and then that sticks in the forefront of people's minds, and that's what they decide they're basing his whole performance on. It's always because he doesn't play it safe, he gets penalised, and then moaned at when he does play it safe, he's not doing the right thing. And then you just can't win with some people.
Yeah, no, completely agree. I'll round it off with the one-word reviews. I put it out there for people to send in their one-word reviews. Marilyn went with class. Malcolm went with dogged. Clinton went with resilient. James went with gritty. And Georgia went with fantastic. Dave, we'll start with you. What's your one-word review for Saturday?
I'm going to go with resolute. We were resolute. We were resolute in how we set up, really, and how we stuck to that plan and took on the new plan. And then the second half performance speaks for itself. That was the absolute definition of resolute, I think. Yeah, definitely. I think that's a very apt one to go for. Samir, what are you going for?
I'll go big, fantastic.
Fantastic.
First half was amazing, and then the second half, because of the defensive stuff, it's just great to watch. Yeah.
No, completely agree. Si, what are you going for?
All right.
All right.
No, sorry, I'm still looking at different ones. I can upset people in my baseline. Because of where we were in the country, obviously the Black Country being quite at the heart of manufacturing back in the day, I'm going to go with industrial.
Oh, there we go. You have put some thought into that, Si. Look at that.
2 weeks in a row, Si.
Yeah, I'm already thinking about Nottingham. I'm just really not doing very well with that one, so that could well be me peaking.
I wouldn't look up famous people currently in Nottingham because I think you'll end up down a rabbit hole. Anyway, Si, Dave, Samir, lovely to chat to you, and we will catch up a little bit later in the pod.
Cool.
Cheers, guys.
Huge thank you to Si, Dave and Samir there for sharing their insights into that win away at Walsall. And it is time for our newest feature. It is the inbox. And the inbox is sort of an idea that I've had based on several things that I've seen around in the local sort of podcast sphere. And it's essentially an opportunity for Hughes fans to send in their thoughts and opinions via the medium of voice notes. We put it out there for Hughes fans to send across their voice notes to summarise how they think the season is going. And I had one taker, and I am very grateful for Hughes fan John, who shared his opinions on the season so far.
Hello, Aaron and Beyond the Barside crowd. My name's John. I've supported the Hughes for, let's say, over half a century, but I'm loving it. As far as this season's concerned, I believe we started off slow, much like last season. We needed to gel a bit and understand one another's game, and I think we're turning the corner at last. Recent results have proven so. Okay, we had that home defeat. We had a little blip. Most teams do. We'll learn from it, and I think that's the important thing. We are learning from our mistakes. I think it's been really well implemented by the brothers, and truly, it's exciting. We've got some great, exciting players there. Lisby among them. Mbeck, I think he's doing tremendously well for 19, is he now? But a 19-year-old, who'd have thought? You brought these players in pre-season, sign them over the summer on a small budget. But I think, the Cowley boys really know how to sort of get the best out of these players. And I'm loving it. I'm liking where we're going. I'm hoping that come Christmas time, we've got to be at least in the top 10, better still, maybe top 6. A playoff spot would be nice going into the new year. And I think we're going to go one better the next season and get into those playoffs at the very least. Up the U's.
Big thank you to John there for answering the call and sharing his thoughts and opinions. Very positive thoughts and opinions. I completely agree with John there on the season so far. And it is time to look ahead to the Notts County game. Now, obviously, the U's didn't think they were going to pick anything up necessarily at Walsall because of how high-flying they are. We travelled to the Midlands again to face another high-flying side, and I was joined by Si, Dave and Samir to work out how we're going to take the 3 points there. Hope you enjoy. Welcome back to Beyond the Barside. I am joined again by Si, Dave and Samir, and we are looking ahead to the U's clash with Notts County as the U's travel to Meadow Lane to take on the side 4th in League 2 at the moment. And we're off the back of a really good win away at Walsall, so confidence should well be sky high amongst the U's contingent. But I think the first question I'm going to go for, Dave, do we stick with 3-5-2 or is it back to the familiar 4-2-3-1?
It's got to be tempting because we played so well and we showed it wasn't the take home from the game wasn't just how well we defended. In the first half, we were really on the front foot, really creative. I guess, and we don't know yet the extent of Bishop's injury, whether that may dictate things because that, unfortunately, that is an area we're short. So potentially we have the conversation all over again. If Bishop's
We're not
out,
having it this week.
If Bishop's out, what could possibly happen? I can't even think. So maybe Si, you can come up with something. But we might end up with that situation again. So yeah, but it's got to be tempting, and it would be really harsh on any of those centre backs to be dropped. Mm-hmm. They all did fantastic. I think if they did go back to a 4, I think it probably a Rojo that would come out. Because Flanagan will stay, and obviously he was immense yesterday, and that leadership that we have been lacking. But it does suit the players we got. It gives us the opportunity to keep Lisby high, which dictates then how they can play. I think Notts County don't have a particularly high line, but I think they like to squeeze because they're a very front-footed team, especially at home. And so having Lisby high it will certainly give them something to think about. And then maybe, like we said before, it'll allow our ball players, Reed, and hope, if Bishop's fit, hopefully, to get a bit more space on the ball. And with Ellis, Ellis is just 8 or 9 out of 10 every week, whether it's wing back or left back. Kane Vincent-Young certainly seemed to suit, I thought, the wing-back role more than maybe a flat-back 4. So I can definitely see it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, and it's a tactic that we've used historically to great success. I mean, it was a few years ago now where we sort of had the Brindley and Dickinson combination as wing-back. So it's something that we have used in the past, and it's a shape that we've been able to see go our way. But obviously we're travelling to a side that are 4th in League 2. We've just beaten the side who are top. Is it a case, Samir, that the U's have nothing to fear this season?
Well, I'm a typical League 2 supporter, which I don't really know much about other teams apart from what I see in the headline. And then they haven't lost in 7 games; they've won 5 of those or something. So they're probably a bit more informed than Walsall. I think 2 on the bounce. I am beaten up too many times as a Cole U fan to believe that we'll be going and do another 2-0 win.
Samir just fears every team.
I fear every team because that's just the way of it. But yeah.
And it's been burnt too often.
Yeah, so I think it will be a tougher game. Probably one where we're probably defending more because I think they'll have better confidence. Notts County. But in terms of the shape, yeah, it's got to be tempting. But we won't have the element of surprise this time if we stick with it. They would have seen what we did against Walsall, and it won't be quite as dramatic for them if they're expecting something else. So. We say we're going to do that the whole time, and then we go back to what we were doing before. So who knows? Whatever that you might do, but I think we should be confident enough that we can compete, and that we've proven that enough times this season. So, and yeah, I'm not optimistic of a big win, but I'm optimistic enough that we won't lose. Let's
League 2 it's so open this year. You get, I think MK's squad quality and squad depth will tell as the season progresses. But I think every other team, those teams that sort of including us, Walsall, Swindon, Gillingham, Chesterfield, I think this year, perhaps more than any other, it's going to all be about timing. Yeah. Whoever's in form at the right time towards the end of the season. I can see any of those teams I just mentioned. You wouldn't be surprised at the end of the season if they finish second or they finish 14th.
Yeah,
depending on how things shake out, and because everyone's beating everyone. A lot of teams are losing at home. A lot. Grimsby lost at home again yesterday at Chesterfield. So yeah, it's just this is going to be all about time. It's a crazy league this year. I mean, you can lose probably 2 or 3 in a row and still be in it if you can pick them back up again.
Yeah, definitely. I think it really is a case of anyone can beat anyone, I think, in League 2, and the way how compact sides are in the league table really does show how competitive of a league it is. Obviously, we spoke previously in the podcast about Samson Tavide hitting form and having a really good game, but then you've also got Micah Embick, who is also in form for a consistent run of games. How does the front line look on Saturday?
This has got to be the conundrum for Danny, because Embick statistically is the one that's in form. So Samson's taken his opportunity very, very well when he was told to lead the line and led it very well, both for getting his goals, his assists, and his all-round play. Either one that gets dropped will have the right to field hard done by, which is brilliant, because then you've got to see someone that's very annoyed on the bench wanting to then come on and prove a point. I think we'll go with Embick just because what he's done for the majority of the season so far, and the fact that he just is a very fresh pair of legs. You'll see him, Lisby running at you, he's going to scare anybody, sort of thing, and then look to bring Samson on later when we're either chasing the game, we're going to get into their heads, or if we're defending a lead, to just come on, just absolutely wind up their defence with more what Embick did with Flint this time around. Formation wise, so Notts County only got a draw against Harrogate in the last pretty much kick of the game. They got a penalty and managed to get themselves a draw at home, and they play 3-4-2-1. So it'd be interesting. To be fair, Harrogate also played with a back three, see, with wing backs, maybe nullify them very well. So it could well work out that this is another team where doing like for like will actually help us with our pace to overlap and get in behind. But like we said, the problem is we've worked so hard on our style and formation in the 4-3-2-1 Christmas tree shape that we can't just change because it's worked once. So it'll be very interesting to see what Danny does decide to do. If he wants to get Tucker Flanagan in the team, as he does push, obviously, my favourite go-to comment of getting Tucker into midfield.
There we go.
I think we'd almost be better
Ding.
sticking to a 3, allowing the 3 of them to play together at the back, and have Ellis and Cambridge and Young out wide, just because they've both got the pace and the abilities to get up and down and do bring other players into the game, when obviously then you've got the likes of Anderson, Lisby, etc. ahead to run on. I don't think like Dave and Samir alluded to, we won't be as dominant. It won't be as go out, but we'll go out hard and fast. They'll expect that. I don't think they've got enough defensively in order to curtail the options we've got. But I'll be very surprised if we do manage to keep the clean sheet, just how they've been. By for whoever starts up front deserves it, whether it's Samson or Embiid.
I don't think you can drop Samson after yesterday. The way he's just got back in the form.
Embiid's been doing
does
it
that.
week in, week out, hasn't he?
You know, but he has. But he would have started had he not achieved getting caught up by England. And I think he seems like a level-headed guy, young man. He'll appreciate why he wasn't starting yesterday, and he'll appreciate Samson's done it, taking his chance. And another plus of the with the three at the back is that we can get two up front.
And does that mean that Kyrie gets dropped?
Well, no, I think I was going to say, I think you've got to play Lisby just because of his pace and what that does, not just for us, but to them.
He'll replace Bishop with Embiid. Bishop will play Embiid playing the 10 with Samson ahead of him. Just that way he'll shoehorn both of them into the team.
Yeah, it didn't work against Bromley, did it?
No, they're different. They're County aren't a lumpy, hits it long type team. They will try and play football.
Yeah, definitely. But no, I think it's go back to four at the back. Then obviously there's a clear place for Lisby out wide, and probably Samson with a bit coming on. Question again in the midfield. Wouldn't surprise me if we stay with the three. Wouldn't surprise me.
It's an interesting one that it definitely there's room for debate to be had. So if you're listening on Spotify, if you could leave a comment who you'd go for out of the two. YouTube the same, if you could leave a comment as well. I think it's definitely one that will split opinion amongst the U's fans, particularly as we go further throughout the week. Dave, we've alluded to it already. Teddy Bishop goes off injured. We don't know the extent of the injury. It could well be very similar to the debate that we had a couple of episodes ago where we went through a multitude of different replacements only for both players to be fit. So we'll talk through that. Who would you have come in to replace Teddy?
I guess if we stay with three at the back, you could say Milton only. Is it too early for him? Sounds like Ronnie Harvey's still injured, so I'll know this. He'll know in great detail.
Si knows his blood type, mate. Si knows everything about him.
This is how reputations start, isn't it?
He did react.
Just remember Ronnie's father does listen to this.
Yeah, and he's backed you up.
I know. I think maybe because he knows you'd all bully me just because I understand talent. I can't help it.
He's
an arm around the shoulder,
young man, and Si, you're right to see what you see in him. He's
right
a really good player.
Man. But I guess so. If we do stay with three at the back, it does feel maybe a bit too early for Only to come in. He's not been involved in the squads other than the Virtue game. So I guess potentially Ellis goes into the middle. And Power plays on the left. Probably a better type of team for Power to play against because Bromley incredibly physical. Walsall, very physical team as well with the way they play, especially in the second half. Notts County are a more technical team. So maybe I really like Powell, but where he can sometimes struggle is in the more physical games. So I guess that's an option. Can't really think of many others, to be honest, if we do continue with the three at the back. But if we go with the four, then, for the second week in a row, it becomes legitimate to say maybe Tucker should go in the midfield next to Reid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think there's a multitude of options that we have, although none of them would be our first choice. I think it's definitely we've got to think outside the box to replace him there, and I guess look at how we can sort of operate without him. So hopefully the injury isn't as severe as we think, and we do see him and Reed both starting on Saturday. Looking into the Notts County side as well. I mean, they've got a few experienced heads there. Walsall had a few experienced heads. I think looking ahead to the game, should we go into the predictions? I mean, what are we thinking, Samir? How do you think the U's are going to get on?
My son has told me the only score line to give is the 1-0 loss, because that's what he always predicts.
Okay.
I will go for the stable 1-1, because that's where I think it will be.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Who do you think gets the goal?
I think I will go for Anderson.
Harry Anderson, yeah, definitely. I think he's had a goal involvement. Is it for the last 6 games now? That is that's an incredible stat. It's really a testament to the form he's in. And also, Si, it was you that sent 2 players in the League 2 Team of the Week.
Yeah, and Danny got Manager of the Week as well on the League 2 side.
Yeah, so
papers we had Macy and Tavide were both in it, and Danny got Manager of it. So also we do well. Don't forget Anderson got Player of the Month, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe we're the team to beat. Who knows? Si, what are you going for?
2-1 win.
Goals?
I've got 2 of them. Sorry. It will be Mbik.
Such a poor joke. That you're better than that. Go on, go for it.
Is he? No, I'm not. That's the worrying thing. I'm glad you think I am, Aaron. Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment, but I'm sadly not. Dave knows. Dave's seen right through me. So it'll be. I think Mbik will come back into the team at some stage, whether he starts or comes to the bench. It will be him and Anderson will get the goals.
I like it. Yeah, definitely. Dave, what are you going for?
I think it's going to be very similar to the Swindon game. The teams may end up cancelling themselves out, so I'm gonna say 0-0.
0-0.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. 0-0. Boring, Dave.
Well, yeah, but a 0-0 away to Notts County, I'm okay with.
It is a good result, but
like I've said before with Cole U, I don't care how we play. I don't care if there's XG of 0.01 and the ball's in play for 9 minutes. If we win 1-0, I'm happy.
Yeah. No. Okay. No. Fair enough. I think that's completely fair. So we've got a 1-1, a 2-1 win, and a 0-0. I'm gonna go 2-0. I think if we go for the 3 at the back and we match a man for man again, I think 2-0 and Lisby and Mbik is what I'm going to go for.
Well, you did nearly nail it yesterday. You're the only one who said we'd win.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. I'm a positive man.
God knows why.
Yeah, I don't know. But the positivity certainly paid off against Walsall. Si, Dave, Samir, lovely to chat to you ahead of the Notts County game. And I'm hoping, a win is quite possible. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Thank you.
Huge thank you there to Si, Dave and Samir. And that is the end of the podcast. Another podcast done and dusted. Thank you again to Si, Dave, Samir and John for sharing their insights and opinions, and a thank you to yourselves, the listener or viewer. Please feel free to give this episode a like, a comment and maybe even a share. Spread the word to as many U's fans as possible, and we will see you again next week. Up the U's.